evening. It is June 15th, 7 o'clock, and welcome to the Mount Clemens City Commission meeting. We'd like to call this meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Here.
Fournier. Hammond.
Here.
Crab.
Here.
Menser.
Here.
Voorhees.
You are in the meeting now. There are more than
Could I have a motion to please excuse Commissioner Fournier?
Excuse me, I see her name.
Okay. Ooh, I wonder if that's her.
She may be signing in if you give her a second.
I'm here.
Laura, do you have dual devices on right now? If you do, just turn off the sound on one of them. Okay. All right, excellent. We'll move to announcements, acknowledgements, communications, and report. Item A, the Juneteenth proclamation. We'll go ahead and read that. Whereas President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, formally abolishing slavery in the United States of America. And whereas when Union Army General Gordon Granger landed at the Texas port city of Galveston in 1865 as the Civil War drew to a close, one of his first actions was to read General Order Number 3, which stated all slaves are free and former masters and slaves have absolutely equal of personal and property rights. And whereas the main goal in having Juneteenth celebration is to commemorate and perpetuate the heritage, culture, and contribution of African Americans. And whereas June 19th has a special meaning to African Americans is called Juneteenth, combining the words June and 19th, and has been celebrated by African American communities for 155 years. And now, therefore, I, Laura Kropp, Mayor of the City of Mount Clemens, on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby declare June 19th, 2020 as Juneteenth in the City of Mount Clemens, Michigan, and urge all residents to become more aware of the significance of this celebration in African American history and in the heritage of our nation and city. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of Mount Clemens to be affixed this 19th day of June, 2020. Does anybody have any questions? Sorry. And now we'll have a presentation about the downtown improvements. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. DDA and city staff are proposing several small improvements for downtown. Basically, all of them are right now focused on promoting outdoor dining and creating a park-like spaces downtown. The specific things that we have in mind are Cherry Street Mall, which is looking very tired and worn. We're proposing to remove the old benches and the rotted wooden tables, get rid of the empty tree rings. I say empty, they have flowers in them, but they don't have trees anymore. Replace some of the concrete, but not all. Basically just trying to get rid of any tripping hazards that would be remaining. And then fill the area with brightly colored portable bistro tables and chairs. These would be easy to move when we want to, set up for special events. They're also easy to move when people, when this pandemic's over, want to put tables close together so that groups can sit together. We also propose having a mural painted on the Children's Museum wall. And this would be a children's art in keeping with the theme of the museum. We propose for the city to allow the DDA to construct 2 street side patios in 4 parallel parking spaces on Walnut Street in front of Gumbo's and Your Mother's. If you're not familiar with this concept locally, they can best be seen in downtown Birmingham, where at least 11 restaurants have had such patios. We feel they're really only suitable for streets where traffic is moving relatively slowly. I've got a couple of photos in the report. The first one's of a Birmingham patio. And I can't tell you exactly which restaurant that is. The second one is of a Rock on 3rd in Royal Oak. That one was actually built in a parking lot. Used up 3.5 parking spots because it looks like 4 from here, but one of them was really only half a spot anyway. All it could hold was a motorcycle. That is an extremely popular patio in Royal Oak, particularly among city commissioners. Louisville, Colorado, which is very close to where my daughter lives in Boulder. Louisville is about 18 miles northwest of Denver, and probably less than 10 miles from Boulder. They've gained national attention for their summer street patio program. When I was there about 3 or 4 years ago, in the heart of downtown, it was one patio after another. Pretty much every available space was covered with a patio. DDA has already ordered some bistro tables to be placed at various locations downtown. There's a photo of, these are the exact ones they ordered, what they'll look like.
Colors.
The idea is we're going to put them in the block paver area between Bath City Bistro and Champagne Chocolates, at the concrete pad on Pine and Macomb Place near Pops, and eventually over by the clock tower. And again, using portable chairs gives the city and the DDA the ability to experiment with our outdoor spaces and see how public behavior may change without providing a permanent public improvement. We are very well aware of the downside of using portable furniture, and some of it may walk away. I experienced that with bistro tables in Royal Oak, but not anywhere near as bad as we thought it might be. DDA is also very interested in installing shade sails at the clock tower in the area between Bath City Bistro and Champagne Chocolates, and at the Pine and Macomb concrete pad near Pops. There's a picture here. This is a picture taken off the internet. I can't tell you where it's of. I've used shade sails in the past. We use them in a little downtown park in Royal Oak. They work quite nicely. They bring a lot of color and ambiance to the site. They're particularly great where you don't have trees and can't have significant trees for a long time. Right now we've got 3 sidewalk cafes in Mount Clemens. These are at Bath City Bistro, Orland Sports Cafe, and Abibo. We hope to promote those more actively and to get the DDA to supply the fencing and to manage its installation and removal. This would reduce problems caused by multiple fencing companies who actually work for the restaurants and often don't follow the city's rules for sidewalk cafes. What you typically see is restaurants encroaching into the 5-foot walkway space that you need to maintain for pedestrians with their patios, and that really needs to be prevented. A program I've talked to you about before that we did in Royal Oak that I'd like to try here is the public piano program. It wasn't invented in Royal Oak. It's been done nationally in a lot of cities. The link I showed there shows a picture of one of the first ones. I believe it's the very first one, with Jason Gettinger, who was a chairman for the Royal Oak Commission for the Arts, who was the one who actually was the initial advocate for bringing the public piano program to Royal Oak. There's a link in there too to a Free Press article from a couple of years ago that talks about it at length. In addition, Senate Bill 0942 passed the Senate on June 10th. It actually passed overwhelmingly. It's going to the House now. It would give municipalities the ability to designate social drinking districts and provide a common area where approved liquor licenses could sell to patrons. currently Class A license holders are not allowed to share outdoor space. Everybody has to have their own outdoor space, and it has to be clearly delineated, preferably with fencing or at least with bollards and ropes to indicate which space belongs to which restaurant. So that's the big difference this would allow. It would allow a shared space. Most of what I've talked about above still have to be approved by the DDA. We think that's going to be done, but it hasn't been done yet. So since the DDA hasn't approved the funding, I'm not bringing it to you at this time to actually ask for approval of any of the particular projects, but I wanted to make all the commissioners aware of what is coming and give you an opportunity to talk about it and for the public to talk about it now and get any feedback that you may have.
City Manager Johnson, I just have one. We actually are, the DDA is ready to go ahead, and they've purchased the barriers to put in the patio program to just start kind of an infancy in that patio program without building a deck per se, but putting barriers up for those for that program. So if we went ahead and approved the parking space use this evening, then we could begin that program as early as this week. So I don't know if we can do that within this section of the agenda, but it would be for the DDA at this point is asking for 4 parking spaces on Walnut Street.
Yeah, you can approve that at any time. You just need to make a motion. They still need to get approval from the LCC in order to do it.
If they have a liquor license and will be providing alcohol, correct?
Yes.
Right, okay.
The restaurant that's not providing alcohol has no issue with that.
Right, okay, perfect. So what we would be asking for on behalf of the DDA would be 4 parking spaces use until, I think we said November 1st. And we would need a motion for that use on Walnut. So 4 parking spaces on Walnut until November 1st.
You're requesting a motion.
I am.
Okay. So you need a motion for 4 parking spaces on Walnut Street.
Yep, to be designated to the DDA for use for outdoor parking spaces.
For outdoor dining.
There, thank you. Outdoor patios, outdoor dining.
So motion for 4 parking spaces on Walnut Street for outdoor dining.
We need a second.
Support.
Thank you, Commissioner Campbell. Is there any questions or comments?
I think these are great improvements that will be set in place.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
I'm sorry, can I just clarify the motion? Can you
Yep.
repeat the motion?
Sure.
What you're wanting the motion to be?
We need we need a motion for 4 parking spaces on Walnut Street to be designated to the DDA for use of outdoor patios for outdoor dining. Commissioner Hammond, is that okay?
That's correct.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
Doesn't the members of the DDA still need to approve that plan? I mean, just because we, the DDA purchased the barriers, I haven't heard that, and in fact, Mr. Johnson said that we have not received the approval from the DDA board.
All the board members have individually been notified of the plan.
But that does not mean they approved it yet.
Technically speaking, it falls within the purchasing rights so it doesn't necessarily have to go before the board. I believe we have a representative from the DDA. Would you like to answer any of the questions about that? Mickey, are you on? Mickey Weiss?
Yes, I'm here. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The tables and chairs, part of our order came in today. We were busy putting the legs on all the tables and getting them set up, and we've got them right now in front of the Mount Clemens Grill, Gumbos. We have them in front of Pete's, your mother's, and we're waiting tomorrow. We have another shipment coming in, and the idea is to get them out as quickly as possible. We're already seeing today people sitting, using them. I had money left in my budget, and the fact that I could not do my events through the end of this fiscal year, I have the money that's already been designated for me to use. And I've been approved to use it. The fencing will come tomorrow. And we want to get this done and expedited as quickly as possible. As you can see through the news and other media, there are other communities doing this. It's a way of showing the public that we feel responsible for their health, and we want to make sure that they feel comfortable coming into our downtown and that they don't have to worry about being inside buildings. We're finding that the retailers, it's kind of a soft start right now, and this is a way we can gather people. They're going to see something new and exciting that we're doing. They're very colorful. We're very excited about this, and so are the businesses. We've got to get some traffic going downtown, and it's a slow start. But we are confident that this will help to get people to feel comfortable to come into town. We'll even have them in front of the hair salons so that if someone wants to sit and wait for their appointment, that they are not having to be inside the building. So this is something that will be for all businesses, bars, restaurants, retailers, bookstore, offices. Today we had Hunch Free ask for 3 tables to go in front of their business, and we will accommodate that.
Mickey, can you make sure you speak to, the fact that we feel confident in that the board members of the DDA are fully aware of
All
aware
board
of this?
members are well aware of what we're doing, and they think it's a great idea. Like I said, this is not money that is going to we have to find. It's money that I have left in my budget and needs to be spent by the end of June.
Commissioner Menzer, does that answer your question? Do you feel confident in that?
I'm just have a little concern over taking away curb space for these restaurants to do, curbside pickup.
It's not curbside.
Sorry about that.
It's not curbside. It is actual seating. It's actual dining. Pete has already applied for the license for outdoor service.
I'm sorry, Mr. Murray, did you have something?
I understand that, Ms. Weiss. I'm just, when you take away 4 parking spaces to put, the patio thing there, I'm just wondering how that is going to affect those restaurants right there for curbside pickup.
Commissioner Menzer, the 2 businesses that will have the outdoor patios in the curb on the road have been completely supportive of this initiative, are very, very excited about it, and have not been concerned with that at all. I mean, they believe that there's enough parking around them. It's very rare that somebody actually gets to park right in front. I mean, they have been overly excited about this and supportive. I mean, we approached them with the idea, and they were absolutely thrilled. And we approached it as not something we were going to force on them, just an idea that we thought of that maybe could help, and they jumped on it. I mean, they were so excited. So while I can see where I can understand your concern, but just know that we by no means pushed this on anyone. People were we just brought the idea to them and they were very excited. They're already talking about what flower pots they're going to put out and what decorations and if they're going to hang lights. And I mean, they're very, very enthused.
And may I add to that, the seating that will be at the clock tower will be for Louis' Grill, as well as the Mexican restaurant and as well as Gus's. We've created seating throughout the downtown. In the places that were a little further out, we were able to put seating directly in front of their, the Mount Clemens Grill has 3 tables set there right under their awning. They've all been very kind and they will take care of sanitizing them and bringing them in and taking them back out every day. So we don't have to worry about theft. At first I thought I was going to have to go out there every day and put them out and take them and put them into a vacant storefront. But they've all have stepped up and they're so excited about having that opportunity that they've all taken the responsibility of the tables in their area.
And if any business, that's near these cafes feels as though they would benefit from, directly in front of their building, I mean, that's something that we can also discuss and talk about. The great thing about, as City Manager Johnson was talking about, the great thing about these is that they're movable, right? So if we see that one area is, not working, we can move them to an area that really is, or, we can adjust as we go. I think the flexibility within the program is very useful. So, if a business feels as though, I don't think people are going to walk from our business over to places to sit at the cafe, it would be beneficial to be right in front. We can definitely discuss that and move some tables for them. So
Artist Music we've put them in front of Artist Music so that the parents that are waiting for their children's lessons, that they can sit out in front. Today I noticed that there were already people sitting all up and down Walnut. And you have to remember, it's almost a secondary street. They don't get a whole lot. Macomb Place has more going on than Walnut does, but it's a way to ignite another street in our downtown area for people to visit.
is there any further discussion? Any questions? Okay. Oh,
Mayor,
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I've been texted by 2 different individuals. I think the proper thing to do would be to make this motion during general business.
That's why I asked.
And not under announcements.
Okay, that's why I asked.
Right. So
from
if
the
you could
beginning.
defer it,
Sure.
if she
Should
could
we make it-
withdraw the motion and then make it when we get to general business.
Should we move it, so when we adopt the agenda, if we could move it to 9H, is that what we're asking for?
That's what I would suggest, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Are you okay with that, Commissioner Hammond?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, are we moving on from our agenda then, or moving on to the adoption of the agenda? Could I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll move that we adopt the agenda with the addition of 9H. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
And that being the downtown improvements.
Not all the improvements, just specifically the four parking spaces.
Okay. Lisa, if you can just put that in there. Fine.
I have it.
Wonderful. Okay. Do we have a support for that?
Support.
I didn't catch who that was.
Rashida.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, wonderful. Roll call, please.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier. Fournier is muted. Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
There she goes. Okay.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crab,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Mr. Linneberry, is there any way we can help with the feedback that we're getting?
I'll do my best, Mayor.
Okay, very good. Moving on to public participation. This is the portion of the meeting when we're on a Zoom call that can be a little bit tricky. So this is an opportunity for all the public to participate. We ask that you say your first name, and we're going to write a list of everyone who would like to speak. At that time, we ask that you give your full name and abide by our 3-minute rule. Is there anyone at this time who would like to participate in public participation?
George Kale.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, George, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And in regard to the downtown improvements, those are steps in the right direction. I want to encourage the DDA to keep up the good work. It's difficult during these pandemic COVID days, but we're still making some great progress. The only issue would be in regard to liability with item 9H that was added to the general business agenda to make sure that the restaurants that are involved in participating have adequate coverage for the exterior spaces, and that the city also has a rider or some sort of clarification on their policy to make sure that there's not a slip and fall and who's to blame. The program was very successful in other communities. The outside restaurant in Birmingham was actually Dick O'Dow's on Maple Road, a very busy road, and quite successful. It's a buffer even between the road, the walkway, and the entrance into the business, but that's a great improvement for the city. If we get some positive traction on this, perhaps we can expand it. And other than that, looking forward to seeing everybody in the not too distant future, and thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to participate? Okay, hearing none, we'll close public participation and move on to number 7, administrative responses to issues and questions raised during previous meeting. City Manager Don Johnson.
There was no public comment at the last meeting, so no issues were raised.
Okay, great. Agenda item number 8, approval of minutes. I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the city commission meeting minutes for Monday, June 1st, 2020.
Or
Okay, roll call, please.
Fournier.
I'm sorry. Are there any questions? Sorry. Okay, roll call, please.
Fournier,
yes,
Hammond,
Yes.
Crab,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell.
yes,
Agenda number 9, A, emergency declaration. City Manager Johnson.
Yes, the declaration we have in place right now was initially ordered by the mayor on March 16th. This was extended by an action of the City Commission on March 23rd. That had a 90-day time limit on it, and it will expire on June 21st. It may seem odd given that we're kind of winding down some of our emergency procedures right now, and we actually opened City Hall today. But I am requesting that the Commission adopt the attached resolution extending the state of emergency for an additional 90 days or until a declaration of the Commission or Mayor that the state of emergency is ended. This isn't over. We're not sure what may come up next. We have really used the state of emergency very few times to actually do something, and it won't be used lightly in the future. But if the outbreak should spike like it is in some other states, we might want to close up again, and I want to make sure I've got the authority to do that.
Okay, so we would need a motion on this.
Yes.
Yes, I'm waiting for.
A motion for the resolution for emergency declaration?
Right, it's, yeah, motion to approve and adopt.
Motion to approve and adopt the emergency declaration.
Support.
Do we have any questions or concerns?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
The state of Michigan emergency declaration expires next Friday, June 19th. I am not in favor of extending hours for 90 days. I might go 30, but I'm not going 90, especially when the state is looking at ending theirs. We're not going to gain anything if the state, stops their the emergency declaration.
It doesn't really hurt. I know my.
I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, I know.
Laura, do you have, Commissioner Fournier, do you have two speakers
No.
on right now? No?
No. I'll be quiet.
I believe the intention of this is because of, we have to adapt a hazard mitigation plan as well and declare in that. We've also been advised with the Macomb County, the Macomb County team, and with Captain Shipman as our liaison. I don't believe we're asking anything out of what they have been asking for too. So, I mean, we've been kind of following the Macomb County hazard team on their recommendations. So I don't think this is, Captain Shipman and City Manager Johnson, spoke about this, and I believe it's in line with their recommendations.
Also, I fully expect the governor to extend the state's state of emergency.
Is there any other?
I do have my voice now, I hope, but I don't think that it makes it. We can always remove the emergency declaration, correct?
Correct.
At any time.
So this is just really convenience, and it's done then if something does come up.
Correct. The language of the resolution gives both the commission and the mayor authority to end the state of emergency.
I not seeing a problem.
Are there any other questions?
Laura, am I under the assumption then if Governor Whitmer, ends the emergency, you have the power to stop it also? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would that be your intent?
Right, absolutely. I mean, we've followed the governor's lead and like I said, the Macomb County emergency management team the entire time. I mean, we've kind of just been right in step with all of them. So yeah, absolutely, okay. That's our intent.
Perfect. Okay, I'm okay. With
Commissioner, that. City Manager Johnson. Apparently, I want to make you a commissioner today. It's your intent as well, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Hammond,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Menser,
No.
Voorhees,
yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 9B, Macomb County Hazard Mitigation Plan. City Manager Johnson.
Yes, you have a letter before you from Captain Shipman and the documents from Macomb County. The Federal Emergency Management agency, FEMA, requires that Macomb County submit a revised hazard mitigation plan every 5 years. The current plan expires at the end of June of this year. And in order to renew it, all of the communities within Macomb County need to approve it. So we're presenting it to the Mount Clemens City Commission for its approval.
Can we have a motion, please?
Motion to approve the Macomb County Hazard Mitigation Plan as presented.
Support.
Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Yes. Yeah, it says here on Captain Shipman's memo, it says 2 attachments. We only got 1 attachment. What was the other one?
You got everything that he sent me, so.
You combined his 2 attachments into 1 attachment. Is that correct?
She may have done that.
Well, it also could be that the entire document she just labeled as an attachment to the resolution.
That doesn't make sense.
You know, actually, I think I recall what that is. There was a very short cover letter that basically provided the same kind of information that was in Captain Shipman's letter to you, in a letter to him, and I did not include that. So there's only 1 attachment.
Okay, thank you.
This plan, or I should say the plan before this did not address pandemics, correct?
I believe that's true.
And this one does, correct?
Does.
It did, I mean, health emergencies, so I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see that.
You'll note we've got dam failures covered too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just have one question, Mayor Crop.
Okay, go ahead.
When it talks about the residential areas for flooding,
Mm-hmm.
are those included in the plan
I'm trying to find that.
on page 145?
City Manager Johnson, do you happen to know that one?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
On page 145, where it says, where it breaks down the areas for the housing on different streets. I said, are
Yes.
those, it says the flood plan. Are those included in the flood plan? Those neighborhoods?
I think they are just recognizing floodplains, aren't they?
I think so.
Okay,
Yes, I think that's all they're doing is recognizing the existing floodplain map.
okay.
Mhm.
Just wanted to be clear.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Agenda item 9C, audit engagement. I believe that one is also City Manager Johnson.
Yes. I brought this one before you because I think it's a significant action, and I think it should be approved by the commission, signed by the mayor. It appears that in the past it hasn't been, that it's just been signed by the city manager. So what I'm presenting you with is the audit engagement letter for Plant Moran to conduct the audit of the financial records of the city of Mount Clemens, and asking you to approve it and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign it.
Okay, could I have a motion for that, please?
Motion to approve the 2019-2020 engagement letters for Plant Moran to conduct the audit of the financial records of City of Mount Clemens is approved, and the mayor and the clerk are authorized to sign it.
I'll second it.
Okay. Are there any questions, comments?
Mayor, I have just one question. When the Plant Moran gave their report, back in, I don't know when it was, January, I think, there were some questions brought up by Commissioner Fournier and also Menzner as to, exceptions that were found in the report. And apparently, from what I understood at that time, these exceptions had been going on for a number of years. And I think I was specific when Lisa was there to make sure that these were checked out, or that we wouldn't see them this year. And I think she assured me that they were sending extra people in to do that. Am I on course with this?
I remember that. Yeah.
I guess my question either to Cliff, if Cliff is there, has Plant Moran come in and double check things rather than just at audit time?
Well, I believe that they've had somebody in there now for almost the entire year.
Well,
Is that Laura?
I believe that there's been someone in there assisting our people, our employees, for the past year to try to bring everything up to snuff, if you will. I'm hoping that that can end soon, because that is an additional cost. I do think that the audit, I will say that the audit team from Plant Moran, I have not been overly impressed with their communication skills. They should have communicated a lot of things to us more timely, and they didn't get back to us on a lot of our questions that we had when they were asked at that meeting. And so while I hesitate here on the approval, at the same time I realize that really they are the major game in town, if you will, when it comes to local audits. So I'm hoping that this year we'll see a little bit of a turnaround there on how the audit is conducted, as well as what the results are. Results are kind of up to our employees.
So I was on track there, correct, Laura?
You were.
Okay, all right.
Would you like me to bring back a report from Cliff on the status of those items?
Sure, that would be helpful. I think he has brought that up a couple times, but it would be good to understand that we've got it all cleared up.
Okay, well, I'll
To
ask
know
him
for
for that.
certain. Thank you.
And as far as the situation, I mean, if Plant Moran is probably, well, certainly the major player in municipal audits, but they're not the only player. They're kind of considered the premier firm for municipal audits, and they tend to be a higher priced provider than some of the others. But if we wanted to make a change, the time to be considering that would have been like November at the latest. We certainly can't do that at this point.
No, I realize that, and that's why I don't think there's anything we can do at this point other than to move forward. But I guess I would like it communicated to them that we need to, when we ask questions, we would like some answers to come back.
Or maybe if they could meet with us mid-year, mid-fiscal year, like in January or whatever. I think last year they gave us the final report in January because it was delayed. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So maybe if they could meet with us in January or February and, bring us up to snuff.
Well, during that period, they haven't been in looking at anything, so they really wouldn't have the knowledge. You would be better off getting a report from Cliff.
I understand that, Don. I understand that. But there were questions that were brought up in January that, we spoke with Lisa very frankly, and she said she was going to to address them. And as Commissioner Fournier pointed out, we haven't received any communication from them. So I frankly, I understand Plant Moran's the top dog, but they're not the only dog in the kennel.
No, not by a long shot.
Is the audit fee, it is a fixed fee, I believe. Is that an increase from last year?
I believe it's a moderate increase.
What's moderate?
I don't know the exact amount.
I mean, I think we're stuck at this point. We're too late in the game. But I think we need to express to them that they need to be communicating with us.
And then given all the work that they've done in this past year, as well as the work that our team has done, led by Cliff, it seems to me I would like to just challenge them a little bit on that fee. Even if we approve this, they can always come in under it. And to try and, because of the problems they had last year, I can understand that the fee was a little high, but I am very hopeful that this year they shouldn't have those same problems.
Does anyone else have go ahead.
Yeah. Some of the things that were problematic were inherent in the city. Like, we have been cited multiple years, multiple times for segregation of duties. We've been cited, we were cited for the bank reconciliation process. We didn't have that done within the 6 weeks. We didn't, they weren't able to completely review the general ledger because we had some ice arena things that needed to be taken care of. The bank reconciliations, that's on the city. It said specifically amounts on the city's bank reconciliations that were not proper reconciling items. So we need to keep in mind that they did give us a report and they did give us deficiencies that the city needs to correct. So I just want to add that in there.
That was my point, is that Cliff has assured us that those have been taken care of. And they have been there this entire past year trying to help us get up to snuff. So they should not encounter those issues. Segregation of duties is, probably always going to be there, but bank recs and GL problems should not be there. And where I get a little sideways with Plant Moran is 2 years ago, we asked about it and it was assured that it was going to be corrected. And when it wasn't, I wish they would have talked to us.
Do we have any other comments or questions? Seeing or hearing none, roll call, please.
Spencer,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop.
Yes. Agenda item number 9D, local preference purchasing. City Manager Johnson.
Okay. You've got a couple of things before you. First is a cover letter that I prepared. Gives you several links you can go to see more studies on local preference purchasing, but I came to the conclusion after reading these and others that a local preference purchasing policy will result in the city paying more for goods and services, but that the extra cost may be worth it. It will lead to higher prices, even if we follow the plan the city attorney put forward, which only allows the local vendor to match the price of the low bidder, because it'll ultimately discourage non-local companies from bidding. Firms who lose contracts when they were the low bidder and lose anyway will stop bidding. Others may choose not to bid when they see a local preference policy. On the other hand, there are a lot of arguments that the benefits to the local economy of such a policy is worth the additional cost. Also, the other argument is that dealing with local nearby suppliers with whom you can develop a relationship will lead to better service. I think the second argument is probably more valid for us, especially if we're talking about a Mount Clemens policy only, because one, we only did 36 real bids ourselves in 2019 to which this could possibly apply. And the vast majority of those were for items that no Mount Clemens supplier can provide. So there's probably fewer than 5 bids a year if the limit was Mount Clemens, where this policy could possibly come into effect. And whether or not, I don't know. If we went with Macomb County, of course, or some other geographic area, perhaps just the 2 neighboring townships, that greatly expands the number of firms and would, increase the opportunities. But again, we still only did 36 real bids ourselves in 2019. Everything else was done through cooperative purchasing agreements where this kind of a policy could not apply. The way the city attorney drafted the actual policy was to match, allow the local bidder who was within 5%, and that number could change depending on your action, to match. And the reason for that is that section 10.211 of Mount Clemens City Code, purchases shall be made from the lowest competent bidder meeting specifications. We could not do it the way a lot of units do, where the local bidder actually gets paid the full amount of their bid without the deduction. We cannot do that because of the charter language. So we've got the language drafted by the attorney, Mr. Murray, that instead allows the lowest bidder whose bid was within 5% or whatever amount is determined to match the lowest bidder's price. The city would only pay the amount of the lowest bid. If the commission wants to proceed with this approach, we really need you to, 1, decide that you do want to proceed with it, and 2, how do you want to define local, and how large should the local preference percentage be? And after setting that, we'll come back and redraft the policy and bring it back to you for final approval.
So we're not doing a final approval tonight. We need a motion to just give you direction on how to draft the proposal.
Correct. We believe you should actually have the final draft before you when you're approving a policy of this import.
Okay, so we need a motion that answers all 3 questions, and then we can discuss. Would anyone like to tackle that?
Is it a motion to open this for discussion or just for those questions?
It's a motion. I mean, it will by nature open discussion, but it's a motion to, give the direction to.
There's a recommended motion.
Right, on your paperwork.
At the end of the cover letter.
But you have to still fill in the blanks.
Yes, it does have some blanks to be filled in.
Yeah.
So that's,
It should be where everyone sees "be it resolved." So you have to fill in the blanks.
So I would like to make a motion that the administration and city attorney are directed to draft a local preference purchasing policy within Macomb County, and it's a 10%, and they would be able to match the lowest bidder and be awarded the contract.
Do I hear a second? Any support for that?
Support.
Okay, we can open it for discussion then. I guess my first question is, Commissioner Menser, the 10%. It looks like city administration is looking at 2 if it's in Macomb County or 5 if it's Mount Clemens. So I wonder where the 10 came from, if you want to explain that one.
I think it would be just better to have an overall number. And when I first brought this up, we were looking at contracts. It was less than $100 difference. We were looking at contracts that we were purchasing stuff from Pennsylvania at a lower price when there was contractors here or vendors here in Michigan or in Macomb County that had it. I just think in these economic times, it is important that we buy local whenever possible and within Macomb County. I think the 10% is negligible. But if somebody wants to amend it to 5, I can live with it.
With the recommendation being going no higher than 5, I would think that, especially if you're saying that the difference was negligible, I would think that we wouldn't even need the 10%. We want to be mindful of then making a system that's not competitive. And so I would, be worried about the 10%.
Would agree. I would definitely not want to go over 5. And I rather like the proposal as it was presented with the 2% from Macomb and 5% for the city. I think it's also important to encourage competition and to encourage getting different bids. And I wouldn't want us to get squeezed out of that as well. So we have to find a balance here. I think everyone wants what you had just described, that we just, whenever possible, we should buy local. And, but I think that we have to make sure we're getting competitive prices as well.
Yep. Any other comments or questions or amendments?
Right. All right, then I'll amend it. The administration and city attorney are directed to draft a local preference purchasing policy which affords vendors to 2% in Macomb County, 5% within the city, and does that answer all 3 questions?
I think
Yes.
so.
Yes.
Support.
Okay, do we have any other questions or comments going forward? Okay, hearing none, roll call please.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Moving on to agenda number 9, E, high-tech service agreement. City Manager Johnson?
Yes, this was tabled at the last meeting so that some questions could be answered. And the answers are provided here. Number 1, the agreement does include the monthly backup premium as identified in the second from the last item in the quote. Number 2, tech care staffing hours carry forward if not used. This has not been an issue in the past. If an overage does occur, billable hours can be deducted from the tech care time block was purchased in 2018, which still has a current balance of approximately 7.5 hours on it. 3, remote support is available 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. However, this is deducted from the staffing hours. And number 4, remote monitoring 24/7 is included.
Okay, do we have a motion for this item?
Motion to approve the contract with High Tech for computer and network support services and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the agreement.
Very good.
Support.
Okay, supported by Commissioner Fournier. Do we have any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crab,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Moving to agenda 9F, taxpayer assistance.
The Macomb County Treasurer's Office has created a program they call Keep Macomb Your Home, and that they require local approval for us to participate in that program, and specifically in the pay-as-you-stay option, which is described at length in their document. The finance director / treasurer, Cliff Mason, and the deputy treasurer, Lori Holland, extensively reviewed this, and they are recommending that we do participate.
Can we have a motion for this item?
Motion,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Commissioner Hammond.
Motion to approve the participation in the Macomb County Treasurer's Keep Macomb Your Home program and approve participation in the pay-as-you-stay option.
Support.
Okay, comments or questions? Hearing or seeing none, roll call, please.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crab,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Agenda 9G, approve purchases and payments of invoices.
Move to approve purchases and payment of invoices as presented.
Or
Is that Commissioner Hammond?
was Commissioner Fournier.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, roll call, please.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crab,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Okay, agenda item 9H, downtown improvement, patio, parking space. Okay, so can we have a
Move.
motion for that?
Okay.
Motion to designate 4 parking spaces to the DDA for outdoor dining space.
On Walnut,
What did you say?
on Walnut Street?
Oh, no, not Walnut.
Why
I'm
don't you
sorry?
make the motion to allow the DDA to utilize 4 parking spaces?
Perfect.
Motion to allow,
Yeah, not to give to them, to allow them to use.
motion to allow the DDA to utilize 4 parking spaces for outdoor dining.
Okay. Do we have a support?
Support.
Do we have any questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none? Roll call, please.
Crab,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Agenda item 10, consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Censor,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop.
Yes. Agenda, number 11, city manager's report.
Thank you. Stay at home, stay safe order. The governor has relaxed the order and we have recalled all staff who were working from home as of this morning. City Hall opened to the public at noon today. We have also started reopening play structures, baseball and softball fields, and the hoops are going back on the basketball courts as soon as DPS can get to it. Other city buildings will remain closed for now. The community center is probably going to be the next one that will be able to open. Ice Arena, I'm asking that we do our special meeting. I plan on scheduling it prior to the next regular city commission meeting on July 6th at 5:30 p.m. And that will review the equipment needs of the arena and the financing options for doing it. Water plant. We've made some progress with the installation of the ozone generator. The physical work was completed. We've got a good data link with PureFlow. A test was conducted on Thursday, which found a backflow valve had been installed incorrectly. That's been fixed, and we did another run and actually produced some ozone, but discovered some gaskets that were leaking and a couple of sensors that weren't working properly. So those have been shipped, and hopefully we'll have them tomorrow or Wednesday, and we'll be ready to get those installed and make another trial run. We are very optimistic right now that we think we'll probably be making ozone by the end of the week. Notification system, of course, is still fully functional. Continue to list it here just to provide an opportunity for people to see it, to see where the link is to go sign up for it. We encourage people to sign up for it. We're going to start promoting it next month on the water bill system, on the water bills as well. Strategic planning. I believe all the city commissioners at this point and department heads have probably completed the survey. I can get a count in terms of how many people have completed, but I can't see, we can't see who has completed it. I believe the link got sent out on Friday to start inviting community stakeholders to participate in a parallel survey that asks the same questions, but it's actually going to a separate file so that we're keeping those responses independent of the commission and department head responses. Got the list of what we've got scheduled for upcoming meetings. And we do have the special meeting for 7/6 where we're going to talk about the compressors, the roof, the parking lot, and financing options. The regular meeting for 7/6 and the regular meeting for 7/20. Also, I sent commissioners a notification today that the secretary position has been filled. Nicole started today. And I sent you her phone number and email address. Also, I learned, but was not officially notified yet, that Vice President Mike Pence is going to be in Mount Clemens on Thursday for lunch at Engine Company. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much.
I have a question.
Okay.
When do you anticipate, since buildings are starting to reopen and public's allowed into City Hall, when do you anticipate that commission meetings will go back to chambers and not be via Zoom?
I'm waiting to see what the governor says. There's no way that we could do a meeting in commission chambers and meet the 6-foot social distancing. But on the other hand, she has allowed movie theaters to open, and they certainly aren't meeting social distancing.
So the short answer is if she drops her emergency declaration on June 19th, that after that, city commission meetings will resume in chambers.
That's not what I said. If we are supposed to still be maintaining the 6-foot social distancing, at that point, we cannot return to chambers. But there's also an issue, the executive order, which I think is number 75 that we're operating under right now, that allows us to do the remote meetings via Zoom or via other computer-based or telephone-based systems, expires on the 30th of this month. And if it isn't renewed, we can't continue doing Zoom meetings.
Does anyone have any further questions for City Manager Johnson? Hearing none, we will move on to the final public participation. If anyone has an inkling to participate, we welcome you to by just giving your first name so we can prepare a list so that we have an order of who will go when. When it is your turn to speak, we ask that you give us your name, your address, and be mindful of our 3-minute rule. Is there anyone who's on the call that would like to address the commission?
Wendy.
Okay.
Louise.
I'm sorry?
Louise.
Louise, okay. Anyone else? Okay, hearing none. We'll have Wendy go first. Wendy, please give us your full name and your address for us.
Wendy Golden Zeem, 242 North Wilson Boulevard.
Okay.
Just a note to any new public participants, a reminder to hit the *6 on their keypad in order to unmute so their voices can be heard. And then on with my comments. Last week, Commissioner Campbell mentioned that while walking around and riding his bike in the city, he noted that things he is seeing need to be taken care of and followed up on in regards to code enforcement. And I totally agree with Commissioner Campbell. The property next to us at 252 North Wilson Boulevard has been a blight issue since 2017. We brought this to the attention of the City Commission meeting on June 18th, 2018. The city has worked with the homeowner over the past few years, but only some minor improvements have occurred. The home was abandoned in December of 2017 and has been allowed to physically deteriorate ever since. It was registered as vacant on February 27th of 2020. The homeowner has failed to maintain landscaping, mow the lawn, trim shrubbery, control weeds. Leaves are not raked in the fall. Snow is not being shoveled in the winters. A tree in the front yard is so overgrown that it's blocking the sidewalk. There's missing window glass in the home and the garage, holes in the roof of the garage. Exterior doors have blown open. The front door appears to be open where it may allow easy entry. There's a vehicle in the driveway that hasn't moved in probably 10 years. Passers-by are noticing that this place is abandoned, and as neighbors, we worry that this may become a place for trespassers, vandals, and a convenient place for those with ill intent. On May 29th, I sent an email to Community Development Director Brian Tingley about these issues. Mr. Tingley replied and said he would forward my message to code enforcement for review. On June 2nd, I forwarded more details to Mr. Tingley along with pictures of the property, and asked what can be done. As of today, I have not received a reply from code enforcement. A third party is interested in seeing this property as they wish to possibly buy the home and remodel it for resale. They have upgraded other homes on North Wilson. They left a voicemail for the homeowner, but the call is not being returned. It appears the property taxes have not been paid on time since 2015. There are unpaid water bills and invoices for the city having to mow the lawn. What can be done to protect the neighborhood surrounding this blighted home? Our property values are greatly impacted, and it would be nearly impossible for us to sell our home with this eyesore next to us. How can we get this homeowner to be held responsible and get this property into the hands of someone who will improve it? And that's all.
Thank you, Wendy. We will address your concerns. You'll get a response. Either you'll hear from our staff soon, or we will address the concern at the next commission meeting.
Okay, great. Thank
you. Louise, next, go ahead and state your full name and your address, please.
My name is Louise Cole at 1019 Harrington Street, right across from the hospital. I thought I would wait, as I had mentioned to you before, that today was the day that the emergency room moved out into the new building. And at this point, there is no parking on the south side of the street. And there's no reason why there shouldn't be at this point, because there's no ambulances coming in here. And, you know, if I have company, I've only got room for one car in my driveway, unless I put mine in the, you know, in the garage. I have 2 cars of my own. And I was wondering if you could submit to whoever to, you know, see if we can get parking on our side of the street, on-street parking. That's all.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I just had some visitors join. Sorry. Go on, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. I appreciate the public participation, and like I said, you'll receive responses back at the next meeting. We'll move on to commissioners' comments, agenda item number 13. We'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Voorhees.
Thank you, Mayor Kropp. I would first of all like to say I enjoyed that City Hall was opened up today. Both I saw Commissioner Hammond and myself were there not too long. It was probably about 12:15. So I'm glad that we're opened up and that the citizens can come in and see staff and also pay bills. The downtown is looking great. I think that the improvements that we talked about with the seating is going to really be an improvement for the restaurants, and I know that they certainly have suffered for the last 90 days anyway. But let's not forget the neighborhoods. They need to be looked at also. Census, I want to thank Tommy Barnes and Larry Ireland for their constant updating on Facebook as far as our census. I believe we must be probably in the 70% bracket by now. I know you had an event on Saturday, and it looked like it was very successful. Hopefully we got a lot of people to send their census forms in. It's very important for representation and also for funding from state and federal government. Also, the absentee ballot forms were sent out if we're on an absentee list. Please, if you intend to vote in the August primary, fill that out and get that back to the city clerk as soon as possible. And with that, once a Clemite, always a Clemite.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Commissioner Menser?
I would like to give some credit and thanks to Brian Tingley, our Community Development Director, and Don Johnson for the thorough and well-researched, including all the wonderful color pictures for the downtown improvements. I know that, several people worked on that, but the report was put together by Brian, so thank you for that. I'd also like to thank Jason Pick from our water department for all of for managing all of the repairs and the stops and starts of the ozone system and handling this this installation. Thank you. Your efforts have been, they're appreciated. Thank you. And I think that'll do it tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you. I am so happy we are once again able to enjoy all of our Mount Clemens restaurants and to go to the businesses are back open again. I certainly have missed many of them that did not have takeout, and I appreciated the ones who did provide takeout. So I hope that everyone will support them and help make up for this lost revenue and profit that in these last few months. Restaurants have a very, very narrow margin for profitability, and so we need to support them in every way we can. And I think that the addition of the outside seating is going to be terrific. I work right downtown Birmingham, and you can leave here in the summer at 9 o'clock at night, and all of these restaurants always have people sitting in their outside seating, and there's many of them. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I think it'll be a great community building effort as well as supporting those restaurants. And that's all I have. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Hammond.
Thank you. I would like to thank Ann Peters for getting the community together to clean out the flower beds at the welcome signs and the park signs around the neighborhood, and also for her donating supplies. Along with Clifton and Malia for their march that they did last week from City Hall down to Shadyside Park, their march against hate, and also the Sheriff Department for coming out and meeting with the residents. I'd also like to thank you, Mayor Krapp, for the proclamation designating June 19th, Juneteenth here in Mount Clemens. And also Friday is Juneteenth, so I want everyone to have a safe celebration. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Commissioner Campbell.
Yeah, I have two things. First, I want to give a thank you to whoever the gentleman was that drives the street sweeper. I watched him driving around the neighborhoods, and the caution that he used to go around cars that were sitting, not allowing him to go all the way around. I don't think I would have been that kind, because those cars shouldn't have been there in the first place. Some of them have been sitting there way too long. They got 6 inches of seed pods around them. But whoever was driving that for the DPW, he deserves a very big thank you for his job that he does. Also, regarding the lady that called in, I didn't get her address, but that property that she's describing, that is, I just cannot believe that has gone on this long. I've already talked to the city manager regarding a couple of issues that people have brought to me. So I would hope that we can get on these problems so that they do not continue to bring down the neighborhoods. With that, that's it.
Thank you. I would like to thank the Mount Clemens Retirement Board who met today. We received a report from Loomis Sales. Of course, we were all nervous about that report considering the market and the economy. And we were really happy, we were kind of surprised that while we did, of course, have a significant dip in our all of our investments, we have seen a decent recovery in the last few months. So both our funds, our retirement and our retiree healthcare funds are still in very good shape, and we're monitoring that as well as Loomis Sales is monitoring it, and so people can be assured that we are staying on top of that. The downtown program for our outdoor cafes, I want to thank Brian and Michelle Weiss, Steve Staff, who have been an incredible team to work with. We've all been bouncing off ideas with each other, and we welcome other ideas that people may have. It's really been a pleasure to work with everyone, and I'm excited that we're getting things rolling. Like I said, we were able to put out a few today, and to see people already sitting and eating, and I actually had a few phone calls saying they're so excited, and to see the restaurants excited about something, and the comments that they've made has been really just a terrific thing to be part of. So I'm honored that I get to be part of the team. So thank you very much for working with me on this. I'm excited about the phase 2 part of it. I look forward to the Cherry Street Mall, those bids coming in, and looking at what we can do to revitalize that area and to freshen it up. I too would like to thank the water department. I know that ozone project shared with the COVID-19 pandemic and having to send home the people that were going to work on that and install it, and then our water department employees stepped up and with the help of Jeff Wood and made that happen. And I mean, made it happen over, basically Zoom calls, and a whole intricate online system to connect with California. I thank you so much for making that happen. And for us we will not have to have that LG problem again. I can't thank you enough. I'm sure that the residents would do the same. So thank you. I'd like to congratulate the Mount Clemens class of 2020. This Saturday, they will be having a drive-through graduation ceremony. And while I'm sure that none of them would prefer it that way, I'm glad you will be able to have something of a ceremony. And I want to encourage residents. They are going to have a parade after the ceremony. I believe the ceremony starts about 1 o'clock. We will be posting details about when the parade is going to happen, what time. And I would encourage everyone to come out and cheer for these graduates, especially since they kind of were robbed of a traditional commencement ceremony. Of course, we would like you, since the parade route will be long, it will be church to church to Main Street, Main Street to Cass to Crocker, of course, over to City Hall. So if you can come on the parade route and cheer our graduates, I think that would be a wonderful opportunity to show our community and to show those kids that our community stands by them, supports them, and is excited about their future, as I'm sure they are excited about their future. So anything you can do to support that would be wonderful. Look for details on our Facebook pages. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Do we have any nays? Very good. This ends the Mount Clemens City Commission meeting for June 15th. Thank you very much, and take care, everyone.